I've told you already, I don't go in for that kind of thing.
But this event has commemorative
Hopes? That's odd, 'cause I don't recall a fulfill the hopes of others clause in—
I'm—
But what? You're the— This far out from Mondstadt at this— Who knows?
Huh? Well, that can't be.
Evidence decides what people are like, not your feelings. Don't fret, nobody's gonna blame you if you go back empty-handed. I can't imagine it, but if you dally any longer, you really—
You're right. It's a very important commemorative event. If I'm late, then— Right, I've gotta get going.
I thought I heard something. Who are you and why are you eavesdropping?
We'd better watch out. She seems like a
Oh, really? I'm a member of the long—
Wait, she heard that? Paimon was whispering.
And as for this outlander you seem to be following, the honorary knight that saved us from storm terror. Otherwise, depending on your answer—
What? Do the Sisters of Mondstadt have the authority?
We can't go turning a blind eye to his— Let's talk about you. What are you doing in the mountains? But you're only a traveler. Whatever. I had a notion of who— If it's him you're after, I made a point. Many people have made their way up after—
So, are you all—
No, this is just a professional habit of mine. I sensed elemental— I couldn't care what you think.
Rosaria said there were elemental traces in the tracks.
Steady as stone.
You know, little pixie, your ability to appear and disappear at will is very interesting.
Yeah?
After committing a crime, you'd be able to leave the scene without a trace.
You're so suspicious. Why is Paimon a criminal in your example?
Harden up. I will end you. Almost take cover.
It's getting colder and colder. Rosaria, aren't you freezing?
Me? I'm all right. I got used to operating in adverse conditions a long time ago.
Huh? Seems like there's more to being a sister in the Favonius Church than Paimon realized. Is that Albedo?
The word on the street is he loves painting. The views and scenery here are pretty good. Potential paintings everywhere you look.
But can't he see those hilly churros? Isn't he in danger? Uh-oh. Looks like we startled them. Enough talk. Let's take them out of the picture first.
Who are you? Why did you alarm them? Thank the gods I'd already completed my painting. Would have been a shame to leave these particular hilly trails.
What's up with painting hilly?
I'm afraid the answer isn't easy to explain. If you'd like to have a look at my painting, it may give you a clue.
Wow, look at the detail! But some of it seems...
You can find these hilly trails anywhere. Quite boring, in fact. But take a look at this specimen. In the cyclical lives of such primitive communities,
Hold your horses. We found your man. I'm headed back.
What? Don't you have any questions?
So Sister Rosaria brought you. But back to the point.
We met a girl in Mondstadt, Sucrose.
I see. So Sucrose... Then, if I'm not mistaken, you must be the honorary knight. I've heard a bit of everything. Your actions... I'll skip to the conclusion. There's only one possibility after all. Excellent. If I could procure your assistance, I think my research would... forgive me.
Whoa, you want...
You're right. For example, awakening life. Breathing new life into fallen leaves.
You can do that?
However, I have a particular seed in my possession. The method it's like you, in that it hails from another world. Helping it to grow, to bloom. That's the problem my research is up against.
Well, if you're struggling to figure it out, Paimon's not...
I beg to differ. I'm unable to comprehend the intricacies of life outside of the known, but you're not from the known world. By observing and researching you, I may just be able to find a way to get the seed.
Shall we just get out of here? This sounds a little freaky.
Mora, knowledge, and the answer to time for a change of surrounding.
Albedo and that traveler seem to have hit it off. Takes a weirdo to know one, I guess. I wonder, does this constitute...
Steady as stone.
Lightning flash! Take this!
A question. After this...
I don't know, but I feel the importance will lie in the method. Using alchemy to awaken otherworldly life into that would constitute after awakening.
No! Paimon's got a brain! But what's the seed gonna become? Isn't that more interesting?
Well, if it turns out to be a delicious...
Yay! Paimon's holding you to it.
Well, let's just say the subject of my first research was the elements. In this world, manipulating the elements requires a vision. How you're able to freely manipulate elemental... Firstly, do you have any extra organs? Fascinating.
What a stupid question! And another thing, it's Paimon, not floating child.
I was merely considering the possibility that you were an external organ. Perhaps. Oh, that rules out that, but that would mean that Paimon's elemental power would be enough to break through a mountain rock at least 10 meters thick.
Hey, how would you know anyway?
In that case, it would appear that there's no. Given that there's clearly a discrepancy. Firstly, let me lure a few slimes to the area.
Huh?
Direct and clear observation are naturally if you require.
Slimes! Slimes are fine!
Well, prepare your.
I must leave. Groba, get them! You're toast!
Burn! Ha! 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 Yeah! Ha! Yeah!
Great work. If you're injured, I have a few emergency potions ready. Excellent. According to my observation, now that we know that the external flow is
Internal flow.
it's very simple. I can use alchemy to. If the elemental power is stored or accumulated physically within your body, this potion may elicit an elemental reaction.
Sounds kinda terrifying.
Don't worry. In the normal course,
And in the...
if anything unexpected occurs, well, it's not that there aren't any risks involved, but if. Just a warning. If an internal elemental reaction occurs, yes, that's an excellent way to think of. It's a type of ore known as stars. I'll take you to my campsite. All going to plan.
Paimon's still good. Let's keep our...
Steady as stone.
Here. Should do for catalyst purposes. This one. Usable with a bit of polish.
Leave it all to me.
What luck. This should be enough. My campsite is just up ahead. This is my campsite. I've added the materials we collect. While we are waiting, have a look over here. My assistant Timaeus here is helping me with my research.
Hello! I've just gotten hold of the data.
Whoa! Look at all the data!
I wouldn't call them I think the most rational direction would be to expound on the phylogenetic consider. You don't have a vision, but you could. Following this line of thought.
Not bad for a point of entry. But strictly speaking, slimes are elemental life form. A cryoregis vine, or even a whopper flower might be a better analogy. But tracing back the in that sense.
Yes, sir.
After all, we've got our primary. If it turned out that he did have a phylogenetic relationship.
Ah. It would. Apologies. Speaking of data, to complete our research, we'll need some more. I'll be conducting.
Great, I'll leave you to it. Looks like the potion's ready. In line with my expectations. Ready to drink. Remember to keep calm at all times, and breathe deeply if you feel unwell.
Tasty? You've got a funny look on your face. You said you tried some already.
Oh, this potion channels elemental power into the body. But if the internal elemental flow is unimpeded, you'll only experience momentary discomfort.
So you knew you'd...
It was my own concoction, of course. Perhaps it's just scholarly self-assurance. In conclusion, I'd say we have our conclusion. As far as...
Aw, Paimon wanted something...
Then again, better an ordinary result than a peculiar result. The good thing about ordinary, people are the same. When you're sick, a doctor can diagnose you because they are you. When something goes wrong, but a peculiar person. For example, a human can't understand the life of a pyroregisfine. To sum up, this has been Timaeus. The results of the new experiment are out.
Just a moment, sir. I'll handle it. Oh, you gave me a lot to consider. Really stretched. Having you down as an animal wasn't very precise.
Not bad. I think it's an interesting line of inquiry. What?
You can count on...
Is he trying to join the night? What?
Before we can proceed with our research, if you're interested, why not?
Lightning flash!
Here comes Albedo! Let's go see him!
I'm back. Did you see anything interesting? Agreed. I'd love to find a moment to put them all in order. Still, experiments come first. Well, on with the research. There may be significant differences between different worlds. Take Tevat, for example. But worlds may well exist where only one So, leaving elements to one... I think answering this question calls for the same methodology as last time. No. You shan't be required to exert... Now, see this pillar here? Use your willpower to try and break it. That was your best...
What's with the disappointment? Isn't that...
Have you tried using your elemental power with food? I'm curious to see how the taste and texture respond. Anyway, why don't you cook us up a sun...
Cooking?
Not only is this recipe a staple...
That does sound yummy, though. Okay, Paimon. Good.
I'll leave you to it then, if there's anything left.
How are we gonna channel elemental power into the food? Maybe try the willpower thing again.
That was fast. An average outcome experimentally, but as far as the proliferation hypothesis is concerned, unless...
We just didn't know how to channel elemental power into the food. It's a...
Not to worry. At least we put some food to good use. And here's your portion. Enjoy. I can box it up if you like.
Woohoo! Thanks! Glad you were paying attention.
I can tell that you're good friends. Paimon was Not that Paimon would have been able to do much if things had gone wrong. But anyway.
Hey! You were being nice a second ago! But you do have tasty recipes. And you're right, we are...
Yes. There are all manner of alchemical items here. I managed to retrieve the majority.
Paimon's barely finished eating...
Don't worry if you can't locate them. If you had, say, I must have dropped them somewhere in the...
So, guess we'd better take a look. Oh, yeah! The extract of an animo crystal fly can only be animo elemental energy. This must be electrohypostasis powder.
Goodness. You managed... I'm wondering.
Yep, guess it does.
Unfortunately, though elementals only a never-before-seen other...
You mean...
Don't be disheartened. This falls entirely within my expectation. I have to commend your Right then. Up until now, our research has focused on your otherworldly identity. In essence, the difference is looking out from where we're standing. Can you see what Sucrose... And if you jump from here and landed on that cliff, the one... So what about if you planted a single blow on the mountain face here, and it burst into a million Then I know of a location that will be
Take this!
Out of the frying pan.
Not necessarily. Not if you know of a better... Whichever method you choose, I will factor the time
The opposite side of the...
Without limitations, some of us would be unable to stand the ice. No matter what choice you make, it's all a part of the experiment. Then if you would, please.
Wait a minute! While we're busy testing, what exactly are you gonna be doing?
Me? Recording data, responding to risks, providing... emotional support.
So if we do decide to go swimming, you gonna dive in with us?
No. Unless you're thinking of conducting competitive research?
Oh! forget anything.
Great work. I've never seen your reputation precedes you, traveler.
But you followed us the whole way.
Me? If it turns out that the natural laws of Tevat do not if the natural laws of Tevat do affect you, the innumerable possibilities that this could present.
But how does this help your research?
You've helped me to unravel many of the problems that were holding it back. When we return to the I may be about to make gold, petrified trees, the essence of the investigative I'm willing to pour all my energy into research. All these things that start out as objects.
Oh, so that's why you wanted to paint those hilly trees?
Precisely. To quote my exact...
So after all these
Of course not. Now, follow me. There are some... I imagine you must have encountered more than a few I'd like to observe your intelligence by means of a practical test. I'd like you to explore these. There are 2 puzzles located at the far. As with the physical test, there are no restrictions. Everything you do is an action. Remember that this is a test of intellect. So should you get lucky in any way, that won't be so, let's see you. It's a complex environment, so proceed with caution. Sealy like these are a common sight in the mountains. Returning them to their rightful places is up to you.
Time to clean up.
Here! Thunderclap! Verdict is...
It should now be possible to activate the central mechanism. Exactly what will happen when you do is something I'm looking forward to finding out. Oh, seems that the water level has suddenly decreased. What's this? To the best of my knowledge, these belong... There's still a lot to learn about them. Let me make a copy first.
Another thing, seems like if you want...
I've truly gained a lot from all... Let me return to the campsite first. By the time you get back, I may just have a fleeting miracle for you to witness.
Paimon's kinda looking forward to see, unless you can think of anything...
Not so fast. You're not leaving until I'm convinced that nothing... I most certainly did not. I must say, you let your guards down. Or maybe you were drawn in by his compelling-sounding hypothesis and friendly demeanor. Taking orders from a complete stranger? Drinking? I'd sooner believe you were tricked than that you would be so naive.
Sister Rosaria's guard's so high, she can't even see over...
It doesn't matter what you think. I'm only concerned with one thing.
No way! Paimon would have sent...
With an alchemist of his... In any case, I'm not about...
So, what are you gonna do?
I've gotta hand it to... I've investigated everything.
But we...
But for insurance purposes, I'd better... Now then, Which is what I was hoping.
Overtime?
Before we go our separate ways, Outlander, a word of advice. Don't be so quick to trust Albedo, and don't repeat the same mistakes that you did this time. You made a lot of rash decisions today.
She's good! Mondstadt doesn't have many people like that. Huh.
We should be able to see what's in the water now. Let's have a look. You're back. Good timing. You took quite a while. Did you get held up on the way back? Time for the results. But the integral preliminary conclusion that I can offer you is... You're very...
You couldn't tell that just by looking? We spent all day working our butts off for this.
Please, I understand that this... Have you ever considered that the world of Tevat may have a natural hostility? I mentioned the natural laws of this world. You're the only other life form that, like you, has come here, but... After imitating you helped to inspire my alchemy. And so...
Whoa! It looks like something's appearing!
The transition from nothing into something, from shoot to stem, is not nurturing other...
Paimon thought with all our...
Life is a manifold tapestry of free and a short life can be well lit. So, do you understand what I meant about us conversing here, argue?
Don't be... Albedo, Paimon really wants to be your friend.
Thank you both. Your help inspired me to discover the means to make I mean that the time I've spent in the future. If the need arises, well... I made a point throughout of But what was that sediment I saw forming at the bottom of the vial? Those born of Earth are bound by its imperfections. But those born of chalk, if, one day, I lose control... Can I rely on you to stop me?